Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lady Gaga, Hecate, and the Silver Gate, a Super Bowl 51 halftime show analysis. I'm Michael Arevna with RevelationNow.net, and 3 days ago we put out a occult prediction titled Super Bowl 51 Occult Prediction. It's on RevelationNow.net, and we actually predicted themes of the spell, the goddess that was being channeled of the spell, and who would win the game, why they would win the game, what's the purpose of the color alchemy, and some other variables that we've shared with you. So if you check that story out, you're going to see that we were able to predict these things, proving that we're on to something over here at RevelationNow.net. And this is something that we need to share with everyone. People are yearning to learn about what's being used against us. And right now, all roads seem to lead to the stars. I've always been amazed and perplexed by Christ saying, seek ye the kingdom of heaven first. And what exactly does that mean? And as you study this occult footprint that we've been following since 2012, you're going to see variables that actually point to the cosmos, the heavens, and how they are actually using them. And we actually have our own ability to use them, but we're not actually using them. They're using what's been created against us, basically. So, and it's all there for us to tap into. Remember, the Most High says that it rains on the just and the unjust. So these are things that are put into place that it's just going to work for you if you know how to ask for it. And that's what they're basically showing us. So let's jump right into the prediction. So we predicted that Lady Gaga was going to channel Hecate, the moon goddess, basically, and everything seemed to line up to a drawing down of the moon spell. And that spell can only be initiated at a crescent moon, a half moon, or a full moon. And on February 5th, the night of the Super Bowl, it was a half moon. So Lady Gaga channeled the goddess Hecate. So who is Hecate? Well, she was the goddess of magic, witchcraft, the night, the moon, ghost, and necromancy. In mythology, she was the only child of the Titan Perseus and Asteria, from whom she received her power over heaven, earth, and the sea. Hecate was usually depicted in Greek vase paintings as a woman holding twin torches. Sometimes she was dressed in a knee-length maiden skirt and hunting boots, much like Artemis. In statuary, Hecate was often depicted in triple form as a goddess of crossroads. Her name means worker from afar, from the Greek word Hekatos. The masculine form of the name Hekatos was a common epithet of the god Apollyon. Now, Hecate has a sacred tree associated with her known as the Weeping Willow. I am showing you these things because everything that I'm showing you associated with Hecate was shown to you in Lady Gaga's Super Bowl 51 performance, but it was done very artistically and very subdued, but it was in your face. Now, the sacred colors of Hecate are silver and white. Those are the colors of the moon as well. And lo and behold, we predicted that Lady Gaga would be wearing silver and white. Any theme of silver and white would probably be the main theme. And yes, she actually wore silver and white the whole show, basically, except for the time where she had on the gold bedazzled jacket. Now, this is critical because it proves color alchemy they're using here, because Lady Gaga targeted the moon. She had to resonate these colors in order to bind with the moon, in order to loosen the energies of the moon and direct them at the earth. Now, you have to find it curious, just like I did, when you look at the wardrobe changes that Lady Gaga had in her Super Bowl 51 performance. Remember that Hecate is the goddess of three, basically, and Lady Gaga had three different wardrobe changes. And I'm considering the one where she puts on a gold jacket, a wardrobe change as well. So that gives us 3 different looks that she actually created based on resonating with Hecate. Now, at the very beginning of Lady Gaga's act, she looks like she has these raccoon eyes, basically. She just used a different color. She didn't go with the straight black. But she definitely seems to be saying raccoon here with her eyes. And I can't make this stuff up, but all roads seem to lead back to Hecate and the moon. Now, in the month of February, there is a actual thing called the raccoon moon, and in ancient lore, occult circles as well, they recognize this as a full moon in February. So I'm not sure why she actually channeled this now, because the moon was not full, but there's obviously purpose and intention with everything that they do. Nothing is just done because I like how this looks or it's done by accident. There's actually an intention to bind with Hecate. So I was actually kind of shocked to see the raccoon. Not everyone actually, that's not a common household thing right there where they go, look, it's a full raccoon moon today. Your grandfather probably never told you that, and if you did, you're special. So let's move on. Now, last year in Beyonce's Super Bowl performance, there was runes used. She used her dance troupe to form runes, and then the director made sure the public could get a good look at these runes, thinking it was just a dance routine. Now, I actually see the same runes again this time around with Gibu, and it seems to be imposed on the pentagrams that they have. I'm not sure if that was for structural support or if it's a straight rune, but I'm going to go with the theme that they've been pushing the whole time that I've been watching them, and it's probably a carefully placed rune to influence the subconscious of the observer and to make a connection with the unseen forces, elementals, and things like that. Another strange coincidence is if you looked on the television screens, the monitors that are on the towers, the flaming twin towers, you would see cross symbols on them all. And I wonder if that was because Hecate is the goddess of the crossroads, and they're doing everything they can to call her and to bind and to resonate with her, because yet again there's another synchronicity where you see a cross and she is the goddess of the crossroads. I can't make this up. It's just right there for you to see if you can see it. Now, I wanted you to take a look at a pentagram altar, because the stage is very, very similar to this right here that you see. It's a different variation of it. Of course, it's not an exact match, but you see the connection here, how they set up the stage in a circular format with the pentagrams there, and that actually acts as a altar. So what they were performing on was actually an altar for the spell and the binding that they were actually acting out in front of the unassuming masses. Now, we have to remember that Hecate is also known as the bearer of twin flames, and up on the stage, that same theme was set up. There are actually 2 different towers set up, and they are in flames, and they are in fact twins. So she resonated that as well. They set this up to a T to make sure that whatever they did, they made sure that they binded to whatever they needed to in terms of attributes and variables and motifs with Hecate. Right in your face. I have to give it to them. They are getting slicker and slicker each time around. I think this one escaped everybody's knowledge base. What you're actually looking at on the stage right now are called magic squares, and you'll see them in occult books. You'll see them in Enochian magic. You'll see them in the Kabbalah as well. And what this does, it gives them the ability to write spells using symbols and alphabet that have a numerical counterpart. So this is getting into some mathematics and some gematria, if you will, as well. So this was something that was very, very powerful. And the way that they did it, it was very briefly, and it was how the outfits were actually designed. And because some of the dancers were wearing black pants at time, you wouldn't see their legs. You would just see whatever shape that they have. And it looks very, very similar to Hebrew characters as well within the magic square. So that's not an accident. Basically, that was in your face, but people thought they're not always trying to show you this and show you that per se. It's not like I see people, it's like a small child looking at an event and just writing what he sees. You have to make these connections. These ancient connections are vital because they haven't ended. And the Most High even addresses that when he said in the book of Isaiah, I think it's 55:10. I'm just talking off the top of my head here. But he talks about ancient things that are not yet complete. And I believe this falls under that umbrella because there's nothing new under the sun. But right in your face, you're seeing magic squares, and they filled these up with characters basically. And we probably couldn't see everything, and I don't think that that's even for us to see. As long as it's in there, as long as it is inscribed, it will activate. These things do work. They're not doing this because they don't work. They're doing this because they are getting results. Now, I am actually planning on sending these screen captures out to a Hebrew scholar for decoding so we can try to understand exactly what was being called upon. We know that they were calling upon fire because the dancers in the silver suits had triangles all over them. And at a certain point, the director pans to a upward triangle on the armband of one of the dancers. So they wanted us to see some of these things for sure because this was a director's direction to the cameraman. And the upward triangle actually calls upon the fire elemental, which is associated with Hecate as well. The torchbearer. Now the director wants you to see a different look in the magic squares. This time, you don't see the same amount of characters, but you actually do see one that looks very similar to the magic square that's right next to the stage. And then you will see the same symbol again in the monitors again. So these are actual symbols, and I don't know if you understand this or not, but just because you don't understand them, they do. They understand all these things on the other side. So they're very educated and they're very aware of what's going on. We're not. Here is another example of magic squares. This one is targeted at the moon. And these come in different styles and different variations as well. So it's no accident that magic squares appeared on a circle stage, and she did it so sweetly and so kindly and so caringly. But a spell is a spell, and you're busted, and we have the facts and we have evidence. When Lady Gaga slowed it down, the cameraman actually panned out, and the crowd was holding orange, like the same color of the willow tree that's associated with Hecate. What a shocker. Same color there, and it actually appeared as the weeping willow was growing as the weeping willow grows. Not a mistake. She was resonating and binding with the willow tree to lead back to Hecate and the moon. So remember what Christ said. He said, whatever you bind on earth is loosed in heaven, and whatever you loose on heaven is bound on earth. I hope I got that right, but I hope you're following me as well. So there you have it. Lady Gaga changed into 3 different outfits. She resonated with Hecate in that manner as the goddess with 3 heads. Everything about this performance was very subdued. It happened very fast, but subconsciously, if you were hypnotized, you could recall these little things. So we did actually record it in our minds. If you are curious, I suggest you take the time and check out some Enochian magic squares and Kabbalah magic squares just to show you this is exactly what they are recreating on national television at the most highly publicized event in America. Now, we have to remember that the moon was actually in the Silver Gate. And for those of you that are new, the Silver Gate is an anciently revered point in space between Gemini and Taurus that ancient historians and poets and other witnesses said that they saw celestial beings leaving that part of space. They called it the exit to the heavens, and it was known as the Silver Gate. Conversely, on the other side, there's a point in space between Sagittarius and Scorpio that's known as the Golden Gate, and that's where celestial beings were seen actually entering, so that's known as the entrance to the heavens. At a certain point in the performance, the dancers actually look like the symbols for Taurus. So in my opinion, they actually were binding with Taurus at that time because the moon was in Taurus as well. So there it is. I hope I've shown you that Lady Gaga is actually an occult operator. I think we all knew that. I think many people were shocked that that her performance wasn't out there like it normally was. She didn't show up wearing like a meat dress or get delivered in an egg or wear strange protrusions in her face, and she didn't swear to Lucifer like she's done before. So this was a very different delivery, and I think she knew. I think they know that we're on to them in the alternative media as well, and people are actually learning about what they're doing. And the NFL is in a bit of a pickle right now because their viewership is down as well, and they tried to blame it all on Colin Kaepernick, but I think people are waking up. There was a lot of comments left on my site where people would not even watch the halftime show anymore because they're on to them and they see it's satanic. So that's actually really good. I hope I've given you some things to think about, and if I've missed anything, be sure to ring my bell and let me know. Please subscribe to my channel if you want to hear other information on this topic, as well as other supernatural analysis as well. Thanks for listening, and spread the word.